It's a state of the nation of some sorts. 83 days to go to the polls. You're going to talk about several issues here. One of top among them being the running mate decision and what it portends for the political parties. Joining me in studio is Simon Gikuru, ANC Secretary General. Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you very much for having me.
Secretary Political Affairs, Kanu, is also here. Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you.
We're still waiting for Newton Hamasi, Democratic Party spokesperson. As soon as he comes in, we'll usher him into the conversation. But let's start off right now with the front page of the Standard. Kalonzo night talks and the deal that never was. But first of all, before we get into that, there's the running mates lineup there. You can see Rigathi Gachagua on the Kenya Kwanza side and Azimio la Umoja. There's Martha Karua. I'll start with you, Okango. What do you make of these choices of running mates? Is this the game changer for both sides?
Thank you, Trevor. First of all, I want to congratulate all the leaders who have been nominated by their respective presidential candidates to be their running mates in this coming election that will determine how we change the lives of Kenyans. They have done well. But specifically, I also want to congratulate Martha Karua and Gachagua for having shown that they also want to lead this country in their respective roles as running mates. We do recognize, particularly us from Azimio la Umoja One Kenya, that we have worthy competitors, and therefore the best way to win this ticket and beat them hands down is to bring them a reformist, to bring them somebody who is capable, suitable, and competent. But not only that, you have seen the excitement that has come with the gender card. I saw yesterday when the women of Kenya have come out for the first time to recognize that indeed they can actually occupy positions of power at the top, not at the bottom. That is the message that Raila Karua ticket is sending. It is sending an excitement all over the world. We have seen world leaders congratulating Madam Martha Karua, Kamala Harris, you have seen Madam Suluhu, our neighbor here, you have seen so many of them. And we do believe that because the Constitution of Kenya allows for equality and equity and providing equal opportunity in economic, cultural, and political spheres, this is the start of a space that women will occupy going forward. We do hope that in future we might even have a female president. But for now, it is something that has excited so many people. Never mind the issues around the running mate, because those are issues that there's somebody and some people who are dealing with them. And we hope that we shall deal with them firmly, because we are in this race to win.
Okay. Gihuru?
Yeah, good morning, viewers, and thank you, Trevor, for having me this morning. Of course, I'll also join my colleague here to congratulate both Martha Karua and Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua upon their elevation in their respective coalitions. And I would want to be very clear with my brother here that the issue of just picking Martha Karua and the sentiments that are coming from Fred that it's exciting people, for me, I find it neither here nor there. If you look at what both coalitions are now fighting against, it is a very serious ideological difference. It's a war on ideologies, whereby while on one hand, Fred and his coalition seem to be fixated on civil and political rights, we are very clear on our end that it has come a point in Kenya whereby the agenda on socio-economic rights must be pushed a notch higher. And I think that is the main difference between your coalition, from where I sit, and our coalition. Such that if you look at Martha Karua and former Prime Minister, they have a very good track record of having fought for civil political rights. You know, the third liberation, talking about the elimination of Section 2A, introduction of multi-party democracy. But you find that young Kenyans like myself and yourself, millions of them, of course, we appreciate their contribution to that end, but we want to now face the realities and the challenges facing young people, and that is economic liberation. And that is where we are saying ours is a push for socio-economic rights. And I think it is like comparing daylight and darkness. We are saying William Ruto, Rigathi Gachagua, Musalia Mudavadi, and the entire Kenya Kwanza brigade is presenting to Kenyans an economic agenda. And so for me, I would want to say that we are not shaken, Trevor. We are not moved at all. If Uhuru Kenyatta, who has been president for the last 9 years, is not able to face the hustler tide in Mount Kenya, I really doubt if Mother Karua would change that.
Okay. Trevor,
yeah.
My good friend, dear Simon, speaks with a lot of confidence. And if you look at the faces of their leaders, this ticket actually has shaken them, because the competition is not between Martha and Mount Kenya or Martha and Ruto. The competition, the candidates are Raila Odinga, who is our captain this side, and their side is William Ruto. Those are the candidates. The choice of a running mate is just a factor in their candidature.
Yeah.
And in this race, we know for sure. He has mentioned that their agenda is socio-economic development. We agree, they have been talking about it. Our question is, how will they implement it? From our end, we have gone beyond socio-economic rights in Article 43. We are talking about even strengthening devolution. We are talking about women inclusivity. We are talking about creating jobs for the young people, me, him, and the millions watching this show today. We are talking about the issues of corruption, theft of public money. They are not talking about that. And that's why we want to tell them that when we go into this election, for sure, we are bringing people with heavy, clear credentials that are going to fight corruption. I am very much worried if by any chance, God forbid, that their running mate and their candidate gets to power. And we know that under leadership and integrity, there are certain aspects of public trust that you must give to the people in office, because a deputy president is a state officer, and they must exercise that public trust in a manner that must be consistent with the Constitution, in a manner that must bring dignity to the office that you hold, assuming that the cases that some of them are having that have been forwarded, they've been postponed to 2022 starting September, assuming that some of them are convicted. How do you remove a convicted deputy president from office at that time? Those are the issues that Kenya must ask themselves. Do you want to gamble with your life, or you want to shoot straight and get people with clear credentials to lead this country? We are saying, Trevor, as Azimio la Umoja One Kenya, that from our end, the contest is not about personality. The contest is about the content in those personalities. What they are bringing on the table, their track record, how they have been viewed by the public. We know that there's been this argument that, you can only be disqualified to run for political office once you exhaust, the avenues of appeal and review. That is true.
Or innocent until
exactly. But Trevor, remember that the leadership, responsibility of leadership, how the public view you, you must occupy that office, and that trust that has been bestowed upon you by the public must be exercised in a manner that it brings dignity to the people of Kenya. It must bring dignity to your office. If you have mentioned severally and you are in that public office, again, is as bad as if you were convicted or if you were charged. We are saying we have an agenda as Azimio la Umoja One Kenya. We have got the 5 U's: umoja, usawa, undugu, uzalishaji. We are saying that we are going to make this country inclusive for the first time, not only on economic and social front, but also culturally. Look at the people in Azimio la Umoja One Kenya. These are people from all over the country. They are not people from tribal numbers as we have seen our competitors do. And look at the agenda that we are putting on the table. We are putting an agenda that they cannot match, an agenda that resonates with the majority. And this race will be won with majority, not minority.
Okay. Giguru, how do you explain the integrity? How do you expect an individual to uphold integrity? Chapter 6 of the Constitution, when they themselves have been mentioned in cases. It is true the law says you're innocent until proven guilty, but what perception does that create?
You see, Trevor, I've been very keen on the formation and the flow of words by my brother here, Fred. And I hear Fred talking about theirs is about the track record for their leader and their leaders, 2 of them. And I think that's the main difference between them and ourselves. Ours is not just about our leaders. Our coalition is about the ordinary Kenyans. And that is the difference between Azimio and Kenya Kwanza. You see, You cannot just come and tell us that you are now gender compliant or you're the most sensitive when it comes to gender issues because you've picked Martha Wangari Karua as running mate in Azimio. If you come to Kenya Kwanza, Trevor, you will find that the issue of gender is more elaborate within the ranks of the coalition than in any other coalition in the history of politics in this country. We are talking about entrusting women candidates for governor positions in Kenya Kwanza. Kirinyaga, we are talking of Anne Waiguru. Embu, we are talking about Cecil Mbarire. In Kilifi, we are talking about Aisha Jumwa. In Nakuru, we are talking about Susan Kihika. So, come on. We have already pronounced ourselves and we have said the moment Kenyans entrust us with the formation of the next government, out of 21 cabinet secretaries, 10 of them will be women. So when you just pick Martha Karua, place her at the top, and then you even go ahead and name every other man in every other position men as prospective cabinet secretaries, then I find that you just want to hoodwink Kenyans as has always been your trend in politics. I mean, Raila Odinga is known for that. You look at NASA and CORD and all that. So the women agenda is more elaborate, more clear in Kenya Kwanza than in any other place. It's not just about getting a woman and saying, now that you have a woman at the top, every other woman is represented. And this is a nonsensical principle of using ethnicity that we have seen in this country, whereby people have been saying, because Trevor comes from a village and now he's been appointed a minister, the whole village is represented. That is exactly what you're trying to say here. It is not about individual leaders. Yeah. It's about the whole lot of them, okay. All women in Kenya. Okay. Are you together? And you cannot compare their women agenda, if you look at us, yeah, with what they're doing. They only have Martha Wangari at the top. I have just told you, and I can go on and on, that we have women in our ranks. Yeah. We have young people in our ranks who are silently driving the Kenya Kwanza agenda. Yeah.
So you haven't answered my question, though. Even though the women that you mentioned were not
I'm coming to that, Trevor.
By the party,
yes,
they were elected in a competitive process. So it's not that they were installed.
Our parties have been very, very deliberate in making sure that we promote the women agenda, even in the nominations. We have our ways of doing it. Now, coming to your question of integrity, I think, Trevor, the law is very clear. He is a lawyer. I am a lawyer. I don't even need to re-emphasize that you are innocent until proven guilty. If you go to South Africa, we all celebrate Madiba. And we know that by the time Madiba was rising to presidency, he was already on the list of terrorists in South Africa by the de Klerk government. If you come here in Kenya, Jomo Kenyatta himself, he was already listed as a terrorist by the colonial government. Uhuru Kenyatta,
those are all people like
Uhuru Kenyatta.
This is very different.
Trevor.
This narrative has to be.
Trevor.
Those are very different allegations.
Uhuru Kenyatta and
integrity.
Listen to me.
Different things.
Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto were suspects of crimes against humanity at the ICC. That cannot be compared to anything to do with integrity in Chapter 6. Those are very serious allegations.
So, but does it make it okay to elect people?
It will also depend on the motivation and the drive for these kind of charges. Are they being driven legally, constitutionally, or are they trumped up charges with some political hands behind them? We all know that anybody who has been seen to associate with William Ruto has had to suffer some sort of integrity accusation.
You know, Trevor.
Today, Trevor, if you came and said that you will be supporting Kenya Kwanza, I can assure you will be told when you're in primary school, you stole a pen, due from who, when you were in high school, you stole whose soap, and then you'll be taken to court for such kind of crimes. Okay. So we know that these kind of charges against our DP nominee are trumped up, they are political, they are nonsensical, and they cannot hold water.
Though the court hasn't pronounced itself on that, so you're the one prosecuting this case
The court does not need to pronounce itself because we can see. You don't need to be told this is a newspaper, Trevor. You can see it's a newspaper.
As a lawyer, you know that's not true.
You know, Trevor, you can listen to Gukuru, how he is not able to answer that question. Actually, he has not answered it. But for us, we respect their choice of running mate, and we consider them worthy competitors. There's something he has mentioned that in Azimio la Umoja One Kenya, what we are doing, we are just putting one woman at the top and forgetting others. Raila Odinga has not unveiled his cabinet. They don't know how that cabinet looks like. What Raila Odinga unveiled at the KICs the other day is just a few individuals that are very key in his campaign, and that is some of the role that they'll play when, not if, he gets to power. We really take serious the issue of women and gender in our coalition. In fact, if you read our coalition agreement, it is an issue that has been dealt with extensively. Number two, on the issue of integrity, Trevor, we cannot underrate this issue the way I see Gikuru is trying to brush it off. This is the issue that has brought cancer in this country. Political cancer has emanated from issues of integrity. When people use impunity to steal public funds, when people deny young people opportunity because they take the money that is meant for creation of employment and put in their pockets, when these same people go and take money meant for construction of water towers, resources out there to build the lives of Kenyans, that is something that we cannot take lightly. We are saying that for the first time in the history of Kenya, we are going to put leaders in place that are bold enough to fix this issue of corruption, because corruption kills. Our chairman, Senator Gideon Moi, keeps telling us that wizi, ufisadi ni kifo. And we know that when you steal money meant for hospitals, you are denying people oxygen, you are denying them bed space, you are killing them. You steal money meant for boreholes, you are denying them water, you are killing them. That is what we are talking about. That is elaborated in the manifesto of Raila Amolo Odinga that he will be launching soon. Number two, I must say that our friends and worthy competitors from Kenya Kwanza are very good in propaganda. If you look at how they speak a lie that is consistent, and then it becomes the truth that is a lie. We want to tell them that their time is up, because this election, look at the numbers. The numbers no longer favor them. Raila Odinga has emerged as somebody who was considered not popular in certain regions. Today, Raila Odinga is the darling of Mount Kenya. Raila Odinga is the darling of Coaston, is the darling of Western. They have been telling us about numbers that they don't have. And I want to tell Gikuru today, when you go back to the office, let them sit down and re-strategize, because they should be ready to concede in this election when we defeat them come 9th, and then be ready to support the government of the day. Because, let me ask you, Trevor, how do you imagine that somebody who has been allegedly, who has been arraigned in court for having misappropriated funds in one way or another, will protect the same funds, even though he is innocent till proven otherwise? But the people watching that, the people who are working under him, how will they be sure that this is the same person that is going to protect their funds? Number two, how do you imagine that at the leadership of Kenya Kwanza, where women, they are just being promised at the podium that we will give you 10 on the cabinet slots, but at the top, they are not committing. Raila Odinga has committed at the top. And guess what? When you have somebody at the top, at the bottom will be attracted. Yeah. That is what we are talking about. But the women will be attracted.
Do you agree, though, that sometimes the legal system has been abused?
That's true. I agree. The legal system in Kenya has been abused severally. And that's why we are saying this time round, we must put people that cannot allow that abuse to continue. The two people, the lady and the gentleman under the Raila Martha ticket, believe that because these are people who have suffered the abuse before. Yeah. Raila Odinga suffered the abuse, Martha has suffered the abuse. The council members in Azimio la Umoja One Kenya, majority of them have suffered the abuse. They have come together for the sake of this country, and they are saying, gentlemen and ladies, this election, we are going to win it. But once we win it, we must correct the past. We must not continue the past. Kenya Kwanza want to continue the past. And that's why you see they put people that have a question character. They bring a formation that is big on PR and cannot able. And then they promise. We are not promising. No. We are committing. All right. In Azimio la Umoja One Kenya.
Gikuru, and you know the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission and the Directorate of Public Prosecutions also insist that politicians fighting cases in court should not be allowed to seek elective positions until cleared.
Yeah, I think I have seen that, Trevor. And thank you for asking that question. But I would also have liked it, and I would also have loved to hear my brother's comments on some of the issues I have heard about your running mates I have had an
That's
issue,
okay.
I have had an issue to do with the BAT scandal. We have all had issues of, we've not even had, you have seen it, because Trevor, when you're talking about a head of state, we also want to see people who are very strict when it comes to the rule of law and constitutionalism. But when you have a presidential candidate who never accepts election results, and then we are saying that Fred is here glorifying them and trying to make them appear like angels, I would also want to hear his comments when it comes to the swearing in, because that one borders treason. So those are some of the issues. As much as you are trying to really defend your duo, your winning duo, those are some of the issues that probably Trevor, our brother, can also comment on. But that said, I think, Trevor, it is very important that going forward, we differentiate what is ahead of us. This election is not just about two individuals from their end or from our end. This election, Trevor, is about me, you, your children and their children after them. This election is about saving our country from the chains of economic takeover. And if you look at the people that are promoting this whole thing of Azimio, Trevor, you realize that there is a common denominator in all of them. We are talking about people who have been in this government, people who feel that they are threatened, people who feel that probably they will be exposed if another regime comes to power. And that is why we've been having an issue with the participation, with the contribution, with the open support of the sitting head of state to these Azimio people. So I think, Nani, my brother Fred, it is very important that we know that when you say that Odinga has a lot of support in Mount Kenya and across Kenya, I really don't know which Mount Kenya that is. I really don't know which Kenya that is. Because as late as yesterday, we were in Gatondo, and you could see the mood there. I saw that Mother Karua had gone to Kirinyaga, and across all along the roads, people were chanting Hustler and UDA. So I think, I know you must console yourself because you're on national television, but I have told him, just before he came here, I told him actually he told me that the moment we win, that I should expect him to knock on our doors. And I want to confirm on that.
You cannot allow Gekuru to go with that.
We will not knock you out because majority of Kenyans know how and where they'll cast their vote. It's very clear.
Sorry, Trevor.
Okango, now you've asked for a position on the other side.
Not really. I mean, really, I said earlier that these gentlemen and ladies are very good in propaganda. He has exported propaganda from their KK office and brought it right into your live studio. This is ridiculous. Imagine Okango working for Kenya Kwanza. It is unimaginable. I mean, but that's on a lighter note. Let's get serious, Trevor. I agree with Gekuru when he says that we need to look at these issues beyond the running mate and the candidate.
Yeah.
Because they also have a team that they have tasked to deliver the votes. And they also have the public that are very expectant of issues that need to be addressed. That one I agree. But one thing I don't agree with Simon is that their team, while we consider them worthy competitors, they are not the best to deliver Kenyans from these problems. Because that team is the problem itself. They are not competing President Uhuru Kenyatta. They keep mentioning President Uhuru Kenyatta in their rallies, in their shows like now. President Kenyatta is not a candidate. Raila Odinga, the enigma, is the candidate. The gentleman that they fear most. Martha Karua is the running mate. The Iron Lady and who was a man in Kibaki's cabinet. You know? This is the combination that is sending them shivering, scampering in the bush. They are nowhere today. The arrival of the running mates in their bases yesterday after their naming, you saw the running mates day out. When you saw Martha Karua go all out in her campaigns, they were shocked. They thought that would be a very weak candidate. They thought that people will reject. There is a bigger constituency in this country, Trevor, that is called the women. Sam Gekuru, I can tell Sam that her sisters, her other friends, the female gender, will be voting for Martha. that is a constituency that they are going to lose, because they have just realized that actually there is a big pull from the top that is bringing women together. That pull is Martha's pull. Number two, as we go into this election, we must not forget the agenda. We must forget the rhetorics, and we must put the agenda. I am putting the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya agenda on the table. And I am saying that Raila Odinga and team are very keen in ending theft of public money. They are not. Raila Odinga and team are very keen in strengthening devolution and taking services to the village level beyond the ward. They are not. I am saying Raila Odinga is keen in creating employment to the millions of young people. They are not. Raila Odinga is keen in the socio-economic improvement of the people by providing the 6,000 for the social welfare. They are not. They are telling us on the rooftop that, you know what, we are going to put 50 million for the young people. Where from? They are telling us we are going to do 1, 2, 3. Where from? We are giving them the roadmap and how we are going to do it. Okay. That is why anyone watching this show today must vote or should vote for Raila Odinga, because Raila Odinga is the only person in Kenya election today that has demonstrated that he deserves. The rest have not demonstrated.
Okay. I have to take a quick break. When we come back, we talk about the cracks and the conditions that are being there. Will Azimio la Umoja itself hold? If we begin with, we've seen Kalonzo Musyoka deciding that he's running for president. Gideon Moi himself was flanking him at a time when Martha Karua was being launched. Then there's the conditions that we're talking about. Will Moses Tangula and also Musalia Mudavadi get the 70%? That is the condition they've been given. And when that doesn't happen, what is the result of that arrangement that they have? We'd like to hear from you as well. At Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Daybreak. See you in just a bit.